experience. I got fired from working at Red Robin for doing that. When do we get to bury him in a thing and jerk off on him, though? I'd say I could take on 3 11-year-olds. And he clicks the button, and he's just this woman cussing him the fuck out. This is the weirdest theory I've ever heard in my entire life. Well, in a lot of ways, Big Boy has never left. It's time to cut a pile. I agree. He will tell you I'm a bad driver, but there's no evidence for that. I have intuition and I'm deep in this. Dude, people fall for absolute monsters on a regular basis.
Hey guys, welcome to the Two Hippies, One Drunk podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in again. We are currently traveling the country and your support means the world to us. This is all self-funded, and if you want to help us grow the podcast and continue to do what we do, there are a couple of ways you can do that. Cash donations are always very much appreciated. We couldn't be doing this without your help, and every little bit counts. Another way you can help is by reviewing us and rating us 5 stars on iTunes. This massively increases our visibility and helps people find us. Lastly, another way you can help us is by subscribing to our Two Hippies, One Drunk Facebook page and sharing our short videos that we've been making. We release content every day, and it's a great way of interacting with us and helping us grow. All right, and with that, I'm going to kick it off to your host this week, Eric.
Hey, thanks, Scott, for reading that because I'm bad at reading. And it's a new intro we just created. So we are here, the Two of These One Drunk podcast. Unfortunately, Tyler is not with us, but fortunately, he's not with us in the flesh.
Not in the flesh.
But fortunately, he is at us via the internet.
Yeah.
I don't know if
this magical thing I can talk to you over states. It's dope.
Right. And I say that in a weird way, considering we did the first year of this podcast via the internet. And
yeah,
like it's a big deal.
with me over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you know what it's like, here. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's nice. You know, it's not crowded. Got my own space.
You're supposed to
I like it. What'd you say?
You were supposed to hate it.
Yeah. No, it's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
So I am hosting this week, as Scott said here, and what we're gonna do is we decided, like, after we went on our plane ride with the amazing Dr. Ryan, last week, we talked to him a little bit, and he was like, as we were telling him some stories that we don't tell regularly, even on the On the Road episode, because our On the Road episode that we do tends to like just go around like the big events. And we're doing kind of a crazy thing. You know, we're 10 and a half weeks into this on the road, and we were telling Ryan some of the stories that don't even make it to that show.
Yeah. Because
they're kind of more mundane road life things, which is what we're going to call this new show. So we're going to create a new kind of show in our lineup here. We don't know yet what day it will necessarily be. It'll probably be just at some point in the week when when it works out for all of our schedules. But it's going to be called Two Hippies, One Drunk Road Life. And we're going to dive into much more of this day-to-day activities that we do. We might do episodes where we talk about like, oh, what have we learned? What have, has Scott learned about me through this? Or what have I learned about Tyler? Stuff like that. Stuff like what our routine is. We might have one time to go through our daily routine, which will probably be brought up actually today in a little bit. So we're gonna do that. Like I said, it's not gonna have a consistent date necessarily yet, but it is something we're gonna throw out there that will, again, kind of go through more today and the weirdness of life on the road.
And I think the thing is too, we kind of talked about is we want this to be more on certain individual subjects that we pick each week, because we have so many stories that we don't get to share on the road episodes, because they're stuff
there's
that's
like a million
more
things
thematic,
going on.
Takes a long time. We could do, and we will end up doing a whole episode on people who have not liked us in public.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the sort of thing you can't necessarily cover week to week.
So what you're saying is pretty much I'm going to be interviewing you two and seeing how that goes.
I was gonna say, is one of those people Tyler?
Absolutely.
Well, to be fair, there was one rude asshole who I guarantee didn't like me because I wanted to sit in his stupid seat. But,
right.
Sloppy Joe's. Yeah.
Yeah. Which we kind of did talk about, I guess. But
so what fat cunt in the Hawaiian shirt?
Yeah, exactly. So this episode is going to be, we're going to try to talk about our experiences in hotels, and this, we're a little more than 2 months out of this thing, and like really, when you think about hotels, in most of your lives, and certainly ours before this, it was like maybe a big deal. You were going on a vacation, you were going on a trip, or even if it wasn't like a vacation, maybe you were like Tyler one time drove out to the Grand Canyon to work there. like it's a different thing because you're just like, okay, I'm on a drive, no big deal. I stop when I need a hotel. I need a hotel. You
Yeah.
pick one that's reasonable and you go for it. And you're only there a day. You don't care as much if they have a workout room or what the breakfast is like.
Yeah, because you're kind of in and out of there most of the time too. You just like go there
Exactly.
to sleep and then go do shit. But for us, it's like we live there.
And it's a weird thing where we've gotten, being 10 weeks in at this point, I'll catch myself sometimes be like, oh yeah, I'm going home. And I'm like, home? I'm going to like a fucking hotel.
No, we say that to each other all
Yeah.
the time. Like, oh, are you going back home or whatever? And it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
And it is
Yeah.
a weird thing because you have comforts at home. You have consistency at home. And in
Yeah.
these hotels, it's a real dice roll.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And so Tyler brought this one up, and it's like we have a kind of a list here of bullet points of things, and some of them will bleed into the other. They'll seem like they're similar, but we kind of have a list, and we'll go from there. And Tyler, right off the bat, the difference between like what I would say living in a hotel versus visiting a hotel is cooking and also the trash situation. For one,
Yeah,
these
dude.
trash cans are not big enough, are they?
No, not for a 3-day stay. And like honestly, at first when we got on this trip, we just kind of filled that thing to the goddamn brim and let it be.
Right,
But
right.
we've gotten into a little bit of a habit of like, okay, it's time to tie off the trash and take it outside.
Right,
But even
at
then,
least
it's still sitting out front of our hotel typically for like
well,
a
even
couple days.
Yeah.
even to the extent where some of us, like me and Tyler and I especially, Scott doesn't do it as much, but Tyler and I really, not that Scott doesn't feel bad, but I think that for some reason Tyler and I do this, but like we literally start going in. If there's a garbage in the hallway, we
Yep.
start emptying it in the hallway.
Yes.
Like just like a meal we made or something.
I will admit we all have our different things that we do. We all have our different roles. I have not one time taken a trash out. If I may.
No.
That
I
not shock me.
definitely have a couple of times.
Yeah, that doesn't
Myself.
shock me. But
Yeah.
I've unclogged a sink. I don't know if either one of you guys have
I have
done
not
that. I've done
unclogged
that.
I'm not the one clogging the sink because I don't shave. So that's you guys clogging the sink.
It's more so food. I'd say
Yeah,
it's
that's the thing.
food.
Oh, that's
And a lot of these sinks, man, are so fucking like they're not designed for anything.
Yeah, they're
It's
not
off, like,
ready for
peanut
you to-
butter off a knife, and all of a sudden it's clogged.
no, that's a good point.
All of a sudden it's clogged because you filled it with peanut butter.
No, that's a good point. And it also lends into like weird things like with the ice and like again in my previous
Yeah,
life,
dude.
I have maybe if for some reason the ice thing wasn't on our floor or
Yep.
something, it's like okay, I only needed to get maybe one thing to just for some drinking water or something. But we need it on a regular basis. And so like little things where it's like, oh, the ice machine isn't even on the first floor or on our floor, or this or that. It's like it's just funny things that come up when you're again like living in a hotel versus visiting a hotel.
Yeah. Like honestly, it's getting the ice if it's on a different floor isn't even that crazy. If like you were on a vacation and be like, whatever, it's up there. Like now
Yeah,
it's
you
like,
almost
oh
like
my
it
god,
when you're
I
on a
just-
vacation, right? Like
Yeah.
it's fun. You walk down to the lobby and you see what's going on.
Yeah.
But like we're like it's very
Like, I don't want to have to be down here right now. I wish it was right next to my room. Sometimes you get rooms that it's right across the hall. I
Yeah.
feel like.
And I would say that this isn't
Those
even
are
in the
good
bullet
times.
points. Yeah, right. And this isn't in the bullet points, but when Tyler says that, it makes me think of like one I would have put in the bullet point then is like the things again, living versus visiting that we like we get excited like when Tyler said the ice might be closed.
Yeah,
or
like
the
legit a
laundry's
little
on
bit.
Yeah.
We actually didn't make a bullet point for laundry either, and that is a major factor.
Yeah,
in all
yeah.
of
If
this.
they have, because so many places, you're paying like a decent amount for laundry, but those timeshares are pretty dope because we've been getting free laundry whenever we go there. Do you guys
Yes.
have free laundry?
We do.
We do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's connected. We share it with one other person who also happens to be gone now.
Right.
So
So
that's
we
pretty
pretty much have our
You
own.
guys share it with
No,
the
there's like
neighbor?
it's a weird thing in this timeshare where like you walk through a door and then there's A and B. So you're
Okay,
like,
okay.
oh, we're in room 191A and she's in room 191B. So each little A and B gets their own laundry thing, but right now she's gone for a day or two. Actually, we got to know her a little bit, and she's
okay.
gone for. She said she did like our page and said she was going to start watching. So if Tiffany, if you're watching, we're doing this podcast. Sorry for keeping
Yeah.
you up last night.
We definitely did get a knock at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I heard about the like. I feel like, thank God, like you made this in your post earlier, Scott, about how like I shush you and it's nicer from me. But it's like, man, like I'm sure I've stopped a lot of shushing.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I
Yeah.
guarantee you, there were knocks going to. We have had a knock before when we
Right.
were drunk at that shitty one in that really crappy one with the bags where I went somewhere
Well,
else.
we didn't get a knock. We got a call.
No, yeah, but there was a knock too. There was a knock on the wall, and then it continued, and then they called.
Which, by the way, what Tyler's referring to is we were in Dallas. And see, this is the things, like I said,
Yeah.
like some of these things don't make it into the on the road episode because we do so much. But like what
Yeah.
Tyler's referring to is like me and Tyler came back from Pat Green,
yeah,
hammered,
Wasted.
so drunk.
wasted, so drunk.
I
And,
was
like,
the first
We
person
didn't
you
even.
guys woke
We didn't
up.
even. We had a video of Eric like eating food off this floor.
Right,
and we
right.
never even got online because I was just too drunk and we had too many other good videos.
Yeah. And so what Tyler's referring to, I guess there was a knock, but also eventually we got a call. We got a call from the front desk, and
Yeah,
we were
no,
also
we definitely
mad.
got both because I heard the knock. You guys quieted down for like 2 seconds, and then Eric's like, "No, I got to do this video." Okay.
And so we got a
Okay.
call, and I wish we had this on video, but all I
Yeah.
I muster up. I go like, they're like, "Oh, excuse me, we've got a complaint that it's too loud up there," and I was like, "Oh, sorry, we're playing a game of chess up here, and someone just got checkmate."
Like that justify one. Why are people freaking out over chess? And
Right.
two,
Widest
like,
game on the
why is
fucking
that the
planet.
reaction to checkmate? Like, yes, woo!
Yeah, someone got a checkmate, so we're literally like, stomping around in the room, throwing things. Like,
Yep.
And
No,
it,
we're
and it
really
should be
into it.
made clear too. This is one of maybe the only time we've hated the front desk people at a place.
Oh, yeah.
Like normally we would be a little bit nicer than that. I think normally we'd be a
Yeah.
little bit more like, "Hey, look, I'm sorry, blah blah blah." These
Yep.
people had already denied us breakfast in a brown paper bag at like 9:05 because
Yeah.
breakfast ended at 9, and we did not like them.
Yeah, get into breakfast. Let's get into breakfast.
yeah,
'cause we're
breakfast
kinda
is
talking about
interesting.
it anyway.
So at least once we got past a certain point, at least the places had breakfast because the
Yeah.
COVID bullshit, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous excuse.
Which
for no
honestly,
breakfast.
that point against those places for just being like, and then offer. My thing, I think it's worse if they offer that dumb little bag rather
I
than
know.
just cut it down and be like, we don't have breakfast, because it gets your hopes up. You're like, maybe there's something in there that will be enjoyable, and then it's like,
I
No,
think
go
the
ahead.
worst thing is when they deny you breakfast, because there are places that will do this that will be like, "Oh, we can't give you breakfast because of COVID, but if you want, you can buy a breakfast burrito from us,
Right.
for like $10."
Or just-
Yeah.
yeah.
14 was the one
14.
you were referring to.
You're
It's
right.
$14 for a damn breakfast burrito.
Yeah. Apparently, if you pay for it, then it's disinfected of COVID.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right.
The
I'm
money.
really, even as far as talking breakfast, I'm gonna almost immediately get away from the one that like references like that, at least that they had it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about the ones that at least had the breakfast and whatnot. Ooh, by the way, I think this person has commented before. If I'm gonna say it anyway.
They
Here's from
have.
Germany. Says, "I'm so drunk tonight. Oh, I'll shave my head again." Ooh, typical German, shaving their head. Am I right?
Okay, do it. You have to
Nazis are,
like
right?
get a bunch of people around and get them to subscribe to us if you do it.
And I
Yeah,
believe this
but-
guy did comment on our YouTube before and say he was going to shave his head. I'm curious if he did and never got back to us because
Right.
it says again.
Yeah, where's
as
this
if he did.
video? See, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Take a video, send it to us.
Yes.
Yes.
If you're just watching on YouTube, you can send it to us even through Facebook at Two Hippies One Drunk, or invite me onto a stream and I'll shave.
Oh, this man is out of his fucking
No,
mind.
no,
No,
that-
absolutely not.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it, but we're not going
It's
to
gonna
do
go
that.
down a weird road.
Yeah. So we were talking about breakfast. So breakfasts are interesting in the sense that, like, again, one thing we're finding, and Tyler, I'm gonna go like, even though this one was pretty recent, I'm gonna go to where our La Quinta was in Charleston before, the beautiful place, and like that breakfast. Remember those eggs at that La Quinta, and like how bad they were.
Before which place?
Yes.
But no, before
Rich Place, before Charleston. Remember
before
when we were at the
Charleston.
place?
Oh yeah. No,
it was just like
the
soggy
pictures.
ass.
The pictures showed fruit on the wall, fruit on the wall and this like nice setup. And then literally Eric was like putting the picture up to where everything was and then took it away. And this like dingy, awful setup was before me with like just cream cheese and bagels. And you could make a sloppy freaking waffle.
Right. And it's
it.
like, remember, Tyler, too, like I showed you the picture of like they claimed like, oh, they had a nice video of like some of these places will have a little like market almost where it's like, oh, we offer some pops and a few
They
frozen
didn't
meals.
have anything. It was like empty.
And by the way, real quick, Tyler, that place was also the place that we did not have a microwave in a room, but there was one in the lobby. And remember, Scott was making dinner, and then you came down with me, I think, or something. Or
I did.
I thought we were all there for whatever reason.
We were.
And I had to it wouldn't work for me, so I had to unplug it, like find the plug underneath the thing, plug it back in, and then it worked.
And in a way, like when you're on a vacation too, it's like the breakfast doesn't matter that much. If you have, cereal.
Probably honestly going out to breakfast a lot of the time in those situations.
Or if you're not, cereal, a bagel, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. When you're living like this, like you need nutrition.
Which isn't the hotel's fault, by the way, necessarily.
No.
And as far as that's concerned. But I'm saying,
you say you got breakfast and you show a picture of fruit. Give me the fruit.
And by the way, it's funny, these things keep coming up. Think of microwaves. Think about our microwave in Roswell. Remember that?
Wait,
God, yeah.
The one down. Oh yeah, down in the hallway.
No, the one that Scott tried to make a pizza with, and it took like an hour.
It took him like 2 hours to make that pizza.
No, for real. We were watching the made-for-TV Roswell movie.
Yes,
we got through the entire thing before I had a pizza that had the temperature and consistency.
I still to this day. I do not believe that thing cooked. I think that it sat in there for an hour and a half and thawed.
It's been enough time. I'm willing to admit that was probably right. It was. How long does it? Because it was almost 2 hours. If it was cooking, it was at such an insanely low temperature.
Yeah. But what's interesting about that, Tyler, is like we've talked about another bullet point is almost like hotel inconsistencies.
Yeah.
And like that hotel, like what we've also all found is like, even the crappier ones. Well. Sometimes not the crappy ones, but most of the hotels we stay at have like one or two things that you're like, this is very nice. Yeah. And one or two things that like, why is this? And so that hotel, that was kind of a nice hotel. If you remember, our room was kind of big.
No, it wasn't bad.
The breakfast in the morning was very cool. They had the alien-shaped head and the waffle even and stuff like that. But it's
the
like
breakfast was pretty all right.
Right. It was the first one we went to that you said we had bacon, I think, at.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it's like it had a pretty nice breakfast. And I'm actually sure that if we had asked them about the microwave,
they probably would have given us a new one, but
still, it's these weird inconsistencies that like you just don't ever know what to expect.
I didn't understand Scott's, like if I was in Scott's position, I would have gotten a new one. Because like I want to eat. This is taking an entire movie. An entire movie.
He just kept getting up every 5 minutes. And then he'd be like, oh, now I set it for 15 minutes.
He kept coming back to me. He's like, what did you do with yours? Because I just make noodles and it worked for me. I don't know what you did with your sorcery.
No, and this is why I didn't go downstairs. A couple of reasons. It was like 9:00 in the evening. You had successfully made food in it, so I did believe it could be done. And also, I had ate an edible a while ago, and I didn't want to have to deal with people.
Yeah, that'll do it. In the middle of Roswell, the movie too.
So go ahead.
We would have had to pause it and like deal with all that stuff too. I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. And it was fine. I'm serious. It tasted exactly like those pizza Lunchables after 2 hours. Like, which kind of lends to the idea that it was not actually
thawed out,
There
man.
was no warmth.
You just ate some unthawed like bread and sauce.
And just by the way, even though we're not going to invite him into the stream, if our fella from Germany there, fella or lady from Germany is there watching.
Lady. Could be.
Well, I don't know. Could be a guy or girl. Probably a guy. But I'm just saying, could be either. Cheers to you, my man. Here you go. Blah, blah. He said he's drunk, so here we go.
Eric did that for a bit. He got up and went and got a beer for a bit.
What time is it in Germany right
now? That's a great question.
This guy said he's drunk. I believe the time zones get.
Wow.
Do you think it's super late there, or you think it's super early?
Let's see.
The more I'm thinking about it, I think it is super.
We're just gonna do. I don't know if Germany
like
has
2 a.m. or something. Right?
I'm gonna just do Berlin. It says Berlin says it's 12:23 a.m.
Okay,
good time
so
to be
he's drunk.
fair time to be drunk. Yeah.
Okay. Cheers to you, sir. I don't
Right,
have a
right.
drink, but cheers.
But yeah, so you guys were talking about that for example, Tyler, and like I said, that just lends to like these inconsistencies in these hotels and with the breakfast or like, do you have anything specific that you think back to, like a hotel by any chance? Like, did you think back to like something you really liked or like really were like blown away that they didn't have? Like, do you have one that you can think of?
Honestly, a lot of them that I was blown away that they didn't have were the meats. They didn't have bacon or sausage most places we were going, especially in the beginning. For some reason, I
Right.
feel like they didn't have that stuff. But later on, they got them. But that did kind of like, I was like, I thought that would be a staple, you know,
Right.
bacon, eggs, and toast.
And another thing, by the way, is that we've all, in a good way for all of us, have gotten kind of actually in a routine of working out at least on a somewhat regular basis. Which is because on this road, we're trying to eat healthier, even though it's hard and stuff like that. And like, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say we kind of talked about it ahead of time. Like Tyler and I definitely did. I know we ended up like bringing this up to you too when we started doing it. We're like, okay, we're gonna be on the road for a long time. Either we're going to get fatter or we're going to get more in shape. There's no in between.
And we've been going pretty hard, man. Like, I feel like when we have gyms, we'll work out 6 days a week, 7 days a week.
No, you're right. And I'm someone who likes to run. So even when you don't have the gyms, you guys, that's one thing you guys are going to have to get a little more into, I think, is because when we get camping and stuff like that, they're not going to have gyms. But
honestly, I'd be down to like go on more hikes and stuff.
Yeah, that's what you'll be able to do then, I guess. But what I was going to get in when I got into that, I was going to get into like even like workout rooms, like the pictures versus what you see versus what there is. And not just that, but like we've all literally had, like Tyler had experience in Gainesville where like you're in a tiny little, that was you. I think we maybe both did, by the way. But like, I thought you specifically came back and were like, dude, I was down there. There was like 8 people in that thing.
Oh no, that was Scott. That was Scott
in
the elevator, right?
No. I'm talking about like Gainesville. Remember that like workout room that was kind of by the pool?
Oh no, yeah, that was crazy. No, it was well, there were I guess 7 of us, including myself. But that thing was.
Why don't you explain, Tyler, like the kind of the size, if you will, of this place, and like how many equipment was there and how many people were there?
They had 3 machines that all had people on them, and then they had a like pulling down machine that somebody was on, and then somebody was on the floor, and then somebody else was like doing pull-up weights. And I was over, like, honestly, standing for a while waiting for the the elliptical.
Treadmill or elliptical,
No, the elliptical. And because I saw that he was like going for a while, so I knew he was going to be done. So I waited getting a drink of water until that guy got down, and then I got up there. But this room was like a little closet. Like, it is like it could fit that stuff, and one person like where I was, the room was full. Like, you couldn't walk anywhere else except to leave. Like, that was the only place you would. That was weird. Yeah.
And actually, Eric is aware of this, but I didn't tell you. I had a nightmare scenario yesterday.
No, seriously, dude, listen to that.
Dude, okay. The exercise room here, where we're at currently, it has 1 bike and 2 treadmills and weights. And that is it.
And it's a little bigger than the one you had in Gainesville, but not much.
Yeah. And it was me and 1 woman on the treadmill. And then 6 people came in. It was like 2 couples and 2 other guys, and they all knew each other. And I had about 10 minutes left on the bike. And they're all like immediately like, oh, we thought this would be bigger. This is no good. And I'm like, okay, cool. They're going to leave. And and they didn't. They started. I don't even know. Like they were taking like Instagram selfies in the mirror and like and fucking like standing around and like looking like, oh, like these weights are pretty all right or whatever. And then just
I feel like that's specifically your nightmare too, because you hate like being observed while you're working out, and that's like the most extreme Like, they're not even doing their own thing; they're like taking pictures.
Yeah, they're literally taking photos of the room while you're working.
It was the worst because I don't like anything where I have my headphones in. To be honest,
were these like just like fucking white people, or were they like?
I mean, I I'm curious where you're going with this.
Because
but no, they were black.
I've worked at a lot of national parks, and if you go to national parks, a lot of Asian people do that shit all the time. Are snapping photos inconveniently in
Really?
crazy places.
No,
Absolutely.
these people were like 20 years old and black.
Oh, okay.
Whatever that's worth.
Yeah, I wasn't even. I was thinking like, are they Asian? Like, are they like legit
That's
Asian?
interesting. And,
Yeah.
and luckily you have experience of that, so that stereotype is okay.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Yeah.
So trust me, dude. They are the riskiest people when it comes to taking pictures. Like, I've never
That's
seen
weird.
someone get so close to a buffalo as
Huh.
Asian guy
Very
with
odd.
a camera.
What I'm gonna, and by the way, and I'm not trying to change this by any means for that, but we have a lot to try to get through here.
Yeah.
And I wanted to move on to, in general, differences, just like, again, what we would have all thought going in versus what we are now. Like, differences in just brands of hotels, or even the fact that like a La Quinta is not a La Quinta. And I'll give this example and I'll let you guys both say something. But like, to me, the easiest example is even like, I would think in a corporate America, when you have like a La Quinta, right, there would just be a standard, for example, of how many pillows you get. And that's not even the case. Like, some give you 2, some give you 4. And it just, like,
I'll give you 3. I've seen 3.
Exactly. And like I said, in my mind, again, corporate America, they usually, you feel like it's like, no, this is it. Not because they even care about us as a consumer.
Yeah, like it's
but
coming
because
out
they
of
just,
a machine and just
right.
pumping out.
They just want it to be, so that way they just know it is what it is. So so if you guys
gotta
want
remember, like, these places are owned by different people, and that's typically what it is.
Yeah, and I would say your La Quintas, your Days Inns, your Super 8s, especially all of those sorts of things, you have no idea what you're going to be walking into. It could be a literal roach motel with bugs and rust all over everything.
Yeah.
And it could be like a kind of like decent sort of middle of the road thing where you get a nice breakfast and everything's clean.
Right.
Yeah. And there's no, we've learned little ways to tell. You definitely can, like, looking through Yelp reviews is a good way to kind of,
Which we didn't do at first, by the way.
Yeah.
We weren't doing Yelp reviews at first. In fact, I think the Super 8, the infamous Super 8 in Homestead, Miami,
We probably should have.
is what led to the Yelp becoming a tool that we now use in our toolbox.
Yeah.
Yes.
And our rule in general is you're going to get a lot of people bitching about stupid shit on Yelp.
Yeah,
So
you
if
can't
it's
believe them all.
and if it's somebody complaining about, oh, the staff was rude to me, immediately discard it. Means nothing.
Yeah.
If somebody is complaining about like, the room was dirty, they're probably right, but whatever. If they're not taking pictures of like moldy wallpaper and carpet stains, then you
No,
kind
if they got bugs, if they got bugs,
recent bed bugs is immediately scratch that off.
yeah,
That's but the funny thing is, for people that don't know, and I'm going to stick on that topic, but I'm going to, again, like how you said, these might meld into each other. We do have a budget, which, by the way, great time to say, we take, we did all save up and work for this, but there's gas prices are going up and stuff like that. I understand it's not a great time. It's never a great time to ask. If you feel it in your heart to help us out and keep it going, we do a Venmo and Cash App. My name is, I do it just through me, and we'd all split it. Eric, ERIC, F as in Frank, ADIE. 248-935-9241. You can text me if you want to give us money. Trust me, we'll find a way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This Ukraine situation is directly affecting us, and it is your patriotic duty to do so.
Exactly. I never realized that the fucking nuclear war would affect me. Ridiculous.
seriously, those
I was
gas
okay with
prices,
World War III until it affected my adventure. But but guys, we're now going to be putting up. I do the Big E Comedy Venture, 2 Hippies, 1 Drunk, 2 Hippies, 1 Drunk on the Road, 2 Hippies, 1 Drunk Road Life. We do multiple videos. Tyler puts out art there. Scott's been putting on, the diary, and we put little videos out there. All we really ask, if maybe you could send us $1 a week, even, and luckily, very kindly, a lot of you that have given more than that, which we all appreciate.
But and it's a journal, Eric. Women keep diaries, men keep journals.
Oh, my bad. I don't conform to.
It's a diary.
I don't conform to traditional man and female whatever things. Anyway.
I don't see gender.
Right. But
the non-binary Eric.
Right, exactly. That could be anything. You never know. Depends on how drunk I am. Am I right? But that was terrible. But anyway, But we do have a budget on the road. Like we do have a budget. And I only bring that into like the differences in these hotels because it's like we have enough to keep us out of what I call the roach motels.
Yeah.
But not enough that we're able to be at just a Hilton on a regular basis.
I'd say sometimes the middle ones can have their own version of Roach Hotel for sure.
No,
like you even said like La Quintas can go from like, hey, this place is pretty dope to oh God, like I don't want to sleep on that like comforter.
Well, what we've learned with La Quinta, by the way, and feel free to prove us wrong, La Quinta. You can add us if you want, but like what we've
Get
learned,
standardized, motherfucker, and make it like good standard.
Yeah, and what Tyler is saying is right. Like, so what we've learned with La Quinta is if you look at their, we stay at 2 hotels. We stay either at Marriott's, which are nicer, and we haven't stayed at one in a while because the points have been kind of expensive. But I got a credit card with them, and we also have a Wyndham Hotels, which are your La Quintas, your Days Inn, your Super 8s, yada yada.
Yeah.
And what Tyler's pointing out is like, if I look in the app, if the La Quinta has the newer outside of the building, it's fucking great. The La Quintas that look like that are great.
Mm-hmm.
The La Quintas that don't look like that,
you don't want. I'm a fan. And honestly, I found, like we've discussed this, but I was gonna say to let Scott like get in here because I was gonna have to say, what's your baseline for being like, I like this hotel? What's like the things that would be like that,
breakfast in the exercise room for me.
What'd you say?
Breakfast in the exercise room for me.
Okay, so if they got a decent breakfast and a decent exercise room,
yep,
I would say smell and breakfast.
And you know what's funny? I would say breakfast is. We all are going to agree on breakfast.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
You got a good breakfast,
yeah.
And we're all breakfast people.
Yeah,
right. I'm trying to think. The other thing I would say is, for me, I know I'm an old man. They talk about me being an old man because I don't like to hold my phone up. I like it if the TV doesn't have to be amazing, but if the TV can at least work.
No, that makes sense for you.
Like in a real way. Like it doesn't have to have.
I would say if it tells you the channels before.
There you go. Yes, that's it. If the TV, I don't need a lot of channels. I just need it to turn on, and if I flip it through, if the TV on the top will tell me what the show is. That is big for me because I just blow through 20 channels looking to find basically FXX or whatever comedy.
No, it's a pain in the ass if you have to flip through.
Yeah, it blows my. I would say like 90% of what you watch is Simpsons, King of the Hill, Bob's Burgers, Friends, The Office.
That's all I watch.
Yeah.
Because everything else,
you flip around looking for one of those 5.
Or
things.
if there's a sports on. You know what
I mean? And luckily for him, one of those is always on.
Yeah.
Love a guy. Like me and Eric were actually talking about that. I've seen, like, they've gone through the series, I feel like.
Oh, already. They absolutely have.
Since we've been on this trip, because I've seen episodes that they replayed. Either they replay a popular one, but like I've seen at least 2 or 3 Bob's Burgers that were the same and Friends for sure.
And you know what's funny? So when I talked about the differences in the brands, first I referenced the pillows or the workout. Okay, whatever. You would think those still, I don't know, the bathrooms would all be the same, right?
Yeah. No, they're not. Some of them have doors into them that for some reason that don't close from the closet.
We found more that don't have locks than we realize, right?
Yeah, for real.
Which is insane. I feel like at a very basic level, like it's not a bathroom if it doesn't have a lock.
Yeah, that's just a door.
That's what makes it a bathroom: a toilet, a sink, a lock. Not even a sink, a toilet, a lock.
Yeah, because the sink a lot of times is outside the bathroom in hotels. So,
or the rust all over everything too. Like I feel
that's what I was gonna say. There are times, Tyler, I've done it. And I don't pay attention closely because I have. And honestly, I know back in the TriCast days, people thought I was a real dirty guy. And I can be a dirty guy. But I like being in a shower. I like, even if I don't really wash my hair, I like the hot water over me, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But I have not. There's been places I haven't washed at. Have you had places where have you taken a shower everywhere? Or have you had a place
No, definitely. The one with the bagged lunch in when we saw Pat Green or whatever. That one I did not take a shower there. That place was gross.
Okay.
And then there was like a couple other
ones.
What
about that? I bet that La Quinta we were at before on our way back from the Key West.
No, I did not take a shower there.
The one with the booger on the toilet hand.
Nope. Yes. Yeah, did not take a shower there. Did you?
I was gonna say it kind of worked out that I had taken one right before before. I took one right after.
Yeah.
If you had put a gun to my head, if it had been another day, I would have.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not.
wouldn't
I'm not
have.
above taking a shower.
I would have waited 2 days.
You
I
would've
definitely
waited 2
would have.
days.
I would have waited 2. I would
I
have
didn't
waited
take-
3 at that place. It was gross. That place was
was.
nasty.
What would it have taken you to take a shower, either one of you, in the Super 8 in
That would cost money.
Homestead?
That would
Yeah,
cost
no,
money.
yeah,
You'd have
yeah,
to pay me.
$50.
150.
Those are both reasonable numbers. I think if it were me, I would be in the range between.
Because
you guys.
essentially, you're taking a shower. At least it's water.
I'm shocked Scott actually went lower. I think for me, it would have to be above 100.
Yeah,
Honestly, I think you're gonna have to get 3 figures. Is
yeah.
that 3 figures? Yeah. Like
Yeah.
honestly, that place.
So it could be $101.
Right.
You do
Price
it.
is right. But
Yeah.
no, it's like I'm a dirty guy, and people know that about me. But I do, like I said, I like showers. But like I'm a dirty guy in general, where I'm like I'll eat food off the floor or something. But that hotel in
Dude,
Homestead,
gross.
you would
I
have
mean,
to pay
it's
me
the
to
only
take a
place
shower.
I didn't sit down on the comforter. Like I didn't want to sit. It just seemed gross. It seemed like there's this thing is covered in semen and
Absolutely.
drugs and sex. And I
know
don't.
what
And
crack smells like, but I believe that smell was crack. that
it
had
was
been
something.
smoked
It definitely
inside
had
of
a
it.
like I said, smells are important to me. Like if a place smells good, I'll be like, okay, I don't mind. If it smells
Oh,
musky,
you've had a
I'm
rough
little
ride
weird
then,
about it.
dude. There's
Huh?
been some hotels I honestly that they weren't the dirtiest, but there's been some hotels where it's not like a bad smell, like not a smell you walk in and go like. But if you're sensitive to smells, we've had some rooms, to be honest with you, that were even
No, absolutely.
kind of nicer, but they didn't smell great.
The night that one of the nights, like it was smelled really bad and it was kind of warm, so I opened up the window and kept it open all night, and it got like real
what that was
fucking
about?
cold. What?
That was Flagstaff.
Yes, Flagstaff. It did not smell good. It smelled like musky old cat piss, and I hated it. So I
Cat
opened
piss.
that
We had
window.
another room that you felt smelled like cat piss. And that
Yeah,
was
but there were
from-
cats in there. I feel like there were animals.
No, I'm just curious what that room was. I remember because we had another one like that.
It was the one with the animals, like where you had the dogs.
Yes,
next door.
yeah. You're right.
I don't remember where that was. It was like a La
Myself, too.
Quinta, I believe.
I think it was a La Quinta.
Because
It
some of them
was-
allow dogs and some don't, I guess, too. Like they're so different. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you said, you'd think there'd be a standard, but it's like, no, there's no
Well, like I said,
standard
even
for
the
any of these
bathroom.
hotels.
Right. It's just bizarre. I mean, even when you get to the Fairfield ends and the Fairfield ends and like the town houses, they have more of a standard. Like
Yeah.
know you're gonna like, get better, but even those townhouses, like breakfast. When we talked about breakfast, by the way, I know we already talked about it, but like even some of these nicer hotels, like a hotel that's nicer. Me and Scott stayed at one when we were down in Orlando driving back to the AEW thing. And
Yeah.
that was a pretty nice La Quinta, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the carpeting was nice. The workout room was pretty nice. The breakfast, waffles, kind of some eggs, kind of some sausage. And that was kind of it. Like
Scott's
it
face
wasn't.
says it all.
We also, I mean,
You're just
that
like,
one that one was in some ways nice. We also saw what might have been a cockroach, which
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Which
What do you mean, like
honestly-
maybe? Did it
But
scurry
overall,
off?
but I'm just saying, overall, that hotel, if you hadn't seen that, you wouldn't have even considered it. That hotel was nice if you hadn't seen that, I feel like.
no, it was. But my thing is, like, if we talk about things that are important to us or not, I have a borderline phobia of bugs. Seeing that thing bothered me all night.
Okay, that makes sense.
Was
That's
it in
fair.
the room?
Yeah.
What, did you see it scurry off? Like, why are you questioning whether or not? It was-
Because it looked
It left and we couldn't
quite
find
a bit
it.
like a cockroach. We both saw it, and then we Googled cockroaches, and we're like, was it? It could have been. If we see another one, we'll say something.
Yeah, that's what see something, say something. If we'd seen another
Oh.
one, we would have
Yeah,
seen
bugs. Honestly, like that shit's gross. That's
Yeah.
like,
No, I
that
know,
would
I
freak
get it,
me
but I was
out.
saying, but I was saying, if he
But
had
it
not
wasn't
seen
like
that bug,
swarms of them or anything.
right? No, that's what we looked for. But like I'm saying,
Yeah.
if you had not seen that bug, I think you would have thought that was a pretty nice hotel. The room was big, you know.
It was all right.
And my point is, the breakfast to me very bland. Even though I remember thinking, when I walked in, this will have a good breakfast.
Yeah.
And it was fine. Like I said, eggs, some sausage, a possible, waffle, the yogurt, but it didn't have anything special to it.
Yeah.
Like, and I kind of thought there might have been there. For example,
That I was gonna say probably a highlight. Honestly, was one in Not Lafayette. Where was it? It was in Atlanta where we stayed at that like big, like old folks home or whatever.
Oh yeah, in Fayetteville.
Yeah, that lady putting peppers and stuff in the eggs. Like that
wasn't
awesome.
there. That was somewhere different. Because he didn't do it every day. That was somewhere different. That was
somewhere different. They had the little pancakes there. That's what I like.
They did have the pancakes there. The one you're talking about where the lady putting them, that was in where University of Alabama is. Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
That was
they had
Tuscaloosa.
Some awesome. She really overdid it. You know, she put some onions and peppers in there, and it actually tasted really good. And most of the time, the eggs are disgusting. It's like fucking orange snot. You're just
it was funny because we gave her, you and me both. Like I even said to her, like really appreciate it. These are really good. She's like, oh my god, thank you. Then the next day, the lady who was working there, like it was like coming up to like a half hour before closing time, and she's just like, we're out of eggs. And it's like, okay. And then the funny thing is, I had gone to work out at like 8:00, and it's like I didn't think she updated them since 8:00. So I was like,
No, you got to get those good employees. I mean, it would be hard in that kind of position, but I did love that lady like put that extra effort in.
No, and my thing with that in particular is like, man, if you're gonna have a lot of these places close down breakfast at 9, which means you have breakfast from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. So you better have everything fucking stocked the entire time.
You know what I think about this, by the way, Tyler?
Coming from a guy who gets there at like 8:10 or like 8:50 or whatever.
like 8:45. Like that's totally fair. It's not why I'll usually get there 15 minutes beforehand. Doesn't matter. Your breakfast is until 9.
I've had a thought about this, Tyler, by the way. The person who despises corporations, despises the idea of like what working should be.
Yeah.
Really, though, when it comes down to it, if it affects him, he wants that standard. If you say the time, you say the time. If Scott was doing that cooking, do you think he would care about 9 a.m.?
No. He would be in the back on his phone and go, "We're out." Like that's what he would do.
Here's my thing with that: is you talk about the corporations thing. 9:00 is a very early time.
Is it? That's not the point, though.
And
so what you're saying is you want the company to step in and say, employees, you better do it to this time because that's what it says, right?
And they've been there since.
To be less stingy and to say breakfast is until like 10:30, and so if I roll in at 9 a.m., then there's still plenty of food.
But you still do want the corporation to step in and say, hey, employees, we're doing this till 10:30.
I mean, I don't think that's a crazy thing. Why? Like, get rid of breakfast at all. Get rid of the hotels then at that point, right?
No.
Tyler knows what I'm saying.
Your standard for like, I think it's like going to a restaurant. It's the same rules, man. Half hour. If you're not there for a half hour before it closes, you're the ass.
No. The reason for that is because now somebody is working past when it closes. That's
they are though. They're probably doing that because a lot of those.
You roll in at 8:58. They are working longer because
they're working longer because they have to set up or like close down stuff, and then these same women are going to clean the rooms. So I think that is making their day longer. That's what I would say. So it's the same thing as a restaurant. We literally had this conversation on the road. And like, I disagree with you. I think showing up at 8:45 when breakfast ends at 9 is ridiculous. 8:30 is okay. I'll give you that because it is just a breakfast. But 8:45, that's on you.
So I will say also, I know he's mad about that. I get
no oranges.
No
oranges for you.
Right. So I was You know, the funny thing is, I had something I was gonna say until I brought up that point to try to nail Scott on his view on the breakfast, because I think the view on the breakfast to me is an overwhelming thought that is kind of a different opinion that I think I'm not gonna say it's hypocritical, but I think it's a contrary opinion in my thought.
I'm going to say it's full on hypocritical, and he wants the little workers to do their work while he's there because he's Mr. Big.
For the hotel he's not paying for, by the way.
Get his. He's trying to get his.
I don't want the corporation stiffing the little guy with their fake breakfast.
But for that to happen,
the little guy staying at the hotel
to work longer.
Yeah. No, we definitely come to learn that Scott he's a big man when he goes to these hotels. He's very picky. He's very much like, this isn't my standard. Where is the gym? Where are the nice breakfasts?
Yes, Tyler,
I want some fruit.
Tyler, why don't you tell, like, for example, this comes up when we were in Orlando on our way down to the Key West.
Yeah.
I am a person, no offense, in my life, I am a self-proclaimed hotel snob. I've stayed in hotels a lot of my life. I really like hotels,
Yeah.
but I can find any hotel I can find. Well, at least they have this little touch.
Yeah.
And Scott on this trip has turned
He
into
has a
absolutely,
list.
well,
And if it doesn't match up to his list, he's like, fuck this hotel.
for that hotel that he didn't pay for, by the way. But anyway.
Listen, okay, you have to understand, I'm an only child, and this is my room.
That's true.
Like, that's really
true.
what it comes down
You
to.
got a point. And I even understand like the standard.
I
of
understand
that.
everything you
But your
complain
standard
about. It's just,
for that is very high. And it has changed from
well, he
I
got a
imagined you'd be like cool with a Roach hotel and being like, this is pretty all right. It's a hotel. But
At
now
the
you're
beginning
like,
of the trip, he was okay with it. We stopped at a few places at the beginning, and then he got a taste of the sweet life, and he didn't want to go back. That's what.
yeah, he got a little taste. He got a little taste, and he's like, ooh, I like this.
We're sitting there.
If
we're sitting
anything
there in
below
Charleston,
this,
sitting
not
there in
good
Charleston,
enough.
you guys are wheeling up the cart. You know what I mean? And I'm like, hey guys, it turns out the elevator doesn't go to 4th floor. What are we gonna do here? Why don't we just?
That wasn't me.
That never happened.
It was Tyler. I just wanted to fuck.
It-
I
yeah,
wanted
it
to
was
say
like-
if he would.
I didn't even say that. I was like, ugh.
No, I was just joking.
Okay.
I shouldn't have said that because I was trying to nail it on Scott to see if he would just like let it go, but he didn't.
Trying to pull one over on me. I was too ready for it.
And I knew
Yeah.
I would disagree with it. I felt like so.
I know for a fact that it was a big groan all around.
No, it was for me. It was for me until the thing is, I will say in that situation, I think the groan happened before I was trying to like, but, and it was like, guys, this is gonna be worth it. I think. But anyway,
Yep.
to the rooms, because man, time flies. And see, look we made all these things, and we're not even getting all of them. I'm gonna get to this one anyway. Elevators. Didn't realize that elevators were such a big deal in hotels.
And very risky. They are not, for the most part. I do not feel super safe in these elevators.
Okay, this is another thing that happened on our way back from Orlando, when we were in Orlando.
Oh, yeah,
we were gonna go see the wrestling thing. This elevator.
This was on the way to Orlando.
This was on the way. There was this elevator that was more rickety than anything we've been on at this point. Like, it literally, it shifted, and it fucking, made noise like gears grinding together. And I got in the elevator with another guy, and he was like, "Oh, I don't like that." And I was like, "I don't either." I was like, "Well, at least it was only 2 floors." So I was like, "At least if we fall, it's only 1 floor." And he was like, "Yeah, probably I'm going to take the stairs."
And Tyler, honestly, that story, he told me that, and I took the stairs the rest of the trip. The rest of that.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm
I
like,
do.
Fair. Because some of these I haven't heard. It hasn't shifted like whoa, but it's definitely dropped a little. And I've
Or
definitely
groaned?
heard gears. I've
What
heard
about the
groaning. Yeah, like
it groans like it's like it just put in an 80-hour work week, and it's like, can I just get a day off?
Can I get a day off, please?
One thing too that I feel like is one of those instances of it being your home as opposed to a vacation you would never think about is the speed of the elevator. When you get to some of these places where you're staying there for a couple of days and the elevator takes a long time, that matters.
Gainesville. We all at Gainesville had got to the situation because we were there 3 nights, and we all at Gainesville got to the point where you'd hit the button, and if it wasn't just opened up, boom, right to the staircase.
I'm going up the stairs. Yeah, you're right. Because that thing took forever. And we're on the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember, but we had one recently where we all were here specifically. We're like, the elevators were fast here. And we were all excited about it. I feel like.
Yeah, you push the button and it's right there.
And not even that, but it's only been a few places. I would say this, even nicer places. It's shocking how the elevators are not even there
up to date.
Necessarily amazing.
The place with the best elevators was in it was when we didn't end up staying when we stayed at that True or whatever it was that one night.
Oh, after the Marriott.
They had really good ones.
Yes.
In Hilton.
I was going to say the timeshare that we just did were not great. They took forever if you wanted to take the
which one? A Daytona?
elevator. No, Charleston.
Oh yeah, no, that elevator was
took
terrible.
a while. It's like an old building, but still, it was like
I will give them a little more credit on that one because literally it's a 200-year-old building. So
that's what I was saying.
Be harder to run it. I don't know.
Change stuff,
right? But for us, we were on the 4th floor, and really the only time any of us ever took the elevators, there wasn't the one by the laundry room wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to take your laundry up.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
The other one
Honestly,
was.
that trip wasn't like we did groan when we found out what we had to do, but it wasn't even that bad because we just had to carry our stuff up twice, up and
No,
down.
I know. I was just telling
Well,
Scott about it
and
last night.
stayed
where I was
there
just
for
like,
5 days.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
like,
We
it
didn't
really
do
didn't become an
anything.
issue.
We didn't do anything because I didn't care about that.
What?
Not even to
yeah.
make this point because I keep getting it put on me. That was,
I feel like we collectively groaned. I definitely
groaned when
heard it.
I groaned, but you guys didn't hear my groan because I was
You were in the building.
I was checking in, and I basically said, "Is there any way we could get a third floor room?" And
Yep.
and the only reason we didn't, not to be like, "Ooh," but like the
Yep.
only reason we didn't, she's like, "Well, those are just studios. And like,
Yeah.
oh, are we in a better place?" She's
I
like,
guess you
you're
didn't
in a
groan.
much
But
better
I know
place."
me and Scott definitely went, oh, okay, like let's
Right.
do it.
No, that was a long day too. To be honest with
Yeah.
you, I honestly we had a long day that
And I mean,
day.
it was worth it. That's
No,
all I
definitely
said.
worth it.
would it be worth it? I know like we've got probably about 10 minutes left. I don't know if there's something else. Do we want to talk about that weird Hilton Head experience we had? Or is that not worth it? Is that
Hilton Head?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Here's why I think it's going to be worth. Here's why I think it's worth to touch on it, because it just shows you. So what I'll say is, through these Bonvoy points, the same thing. Like you earn some rewards, and I had earned a reward where we could use up to 35,000 points on a free room for a night.
Yeah.
And to put that in context, the rooms I've used so far have been like 10,000 points. Maybe there was a 12,000 in there, but mostly they've been like 10,000 points for a night. We have a thing where I can use up to 35,000. So we thought you can get a much nicer place. We were on our way up from the Keys to Charleston. I found a place that was like a resort on the ocean.
Yeah.
It looked really cool. I said, I've heard of
He
Hilton Head
literally
before.
showed the picture. It was like the only time he was ever like, you guys just got to see this. Like,
Right.
look
I
at
was
these
literally telling you guys,
pictures.
like, look at these photos, dude. You guys were like, shit, let's do it, dude.
rooms were like $300 a night?
Right.
Yeah.
Like 300 a night. So we're like, fuck it, let's do it. We'll use the free one. We could use it other times, but hey, how often do you get to stay in the ocean? Even though we've been doing it a lot, it's going to go away at some point. We get there, and holy hell, dude, it takes an hour, and I don't know when we would have checked in.
No. Check-in
So
was at 4. and
their time was like 4:00 when you can check in, which honestly is fucking late in general. Like, I feel like.
I think the only reason I'll give them some credit, or not credit, but like that place is not a place you go to for one night. Like we were doing it. It's
so
mostly
people had dirtier rooms.
It's like a resort where usually people go for 3-4 nights almost or something like that. So it's whatever. I'm trying to be fair. That's the only thing I would say for them on that end. Now, having said that, you guys
4:00 it's still no matter what late as a check-in time. And if it's that, you let us check in at 4.
No, and
Like,
we stayed at so many other places where we get there. We're like, man, it's 2 p.m. Is there any way we can check in? Yep, we'll help you out. This $100 a night, hotel or whatever. And this one, they had us waiting around until like 5:15. Half the building was under construction.
Yeah.
So
and that's the other thing. In the end, it looked like fucking its prime was in 1995.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
This is a little thing, but it's just like you would expect a nicer place like that to have nicer stuff. They had a Starbucks inside. And
it's like a mall. That was one of the reasons I didn't really like it, because it was like it didn't really feel like resorty. It felt like I'm in a mall that has hotel rooms upstairs.
It felt like I thought it felt like a small airport at a retirement home.
Yeah.
The clientele was also not even close to what I was hoping it to be, by the way, for a Saturday night.
Yeah, some old motherfuckers.
And so I go into this place, and I just got a little espresso because it's been a long day. I wanted whatever, and they gave me like 70 cents back in nickels, and they're like, "We don't have any quarters." And it's just like, I mean, it's such a little thing, but it's like, on top of everything else, just it felt like everything was going wrong at that place.
And so we were all sitting there, man. And honestly, this was a day that there had been a little contention. We had a long drive. There were some moods that were a little, and not anyone's fault, just like part of being on the road a little bit. And we're sitting there pretty soon. It's 4:30, 4:45, 4:50. And I'm starting to be like, dude. And then we were told in the thing there'd be a free breakfast. They kind of gave me some bullshit rigmarole that weren't going to give us the free breakfast.
They gave you some what?
Rigmarole. Via Disa or whatever I said to Tyler when he left, right? And it was like, We weren't even going to get the free breakfast, and like they didn't even have microwaves in the room, and the food was going to become expensive. And this thing that was supposed to be a treat for all of us, like, hey,
Yeah, like
use
we
these
get this
points.
break kind of thing.
Yeah, sorry, became really, really annoying. But the weird thing is, I think through dealing with it, we actually ended up bonding a little, and then like through deciding to ask if we could leave and making that call, we all felt way better. And we were tired at this point, and then we ended up driving almost 2 hours,
Getting a second win for sure.
but we got a second win because we all kind of agreed that this was terrible, and we made the best of it.
Yeah,
But, I mean, we ended up getting our money or our points back that we're going to use somewhere else. But yeah, that was
I felt like we were all drained because that was the day too where you and Scott got into that weird food versus meth thing. And like,
right. So
whatever.
you're right, there was
like
that.
they had that dumb little tiff, and like we were just all kind of exhausted. And you're right. After we were like, no, we're fuck this place. We're all like, fuck this place. Let's go somewhere else. And then we stayed at that other place that was awesome.
Way better for a third of the price.
I love like, because I know we're not going to explain it, just the food versus meth thing, whatever that is.
It was just a thing in the car, guys.
Now you know. Yes,
we'll probably talk about
debacle.
I think we will talk about that in a future one of these road life episodes when we just talk about like the car version of the trip and what happens in the car maybe and stuff like that. But I'll say this is a proof that like this was a $300 a night hotel. Technically, it was on the ocean, listed as a resort.
Yeah.
And we stayed at a place that cost us $100 instead that night. That was 10 times better, if not 50 times, way better.
Yeah. So much.
I'm going to end here then with, we didn't even get to all this stuff, but that's okay. I'm going to say I'm going to ask Scott to answer first, or Tyler first, and then Scott, whatever. But what do you think of hotels? Like when you left this place, what do you think your feeling of hotels was versus now? Like if it's changed at all?
So I would say it's funny. Before this, even like a kind of bottom tier, even like a not great La Quinta, Super 8 or something like that, I kind of would have viewed as a treat if I was, because you're going on a vacation, you're going somewhere, you're doing all this stuff. I still like a lot of the hotels. But, I've talked to people before who work a lot out of hotels and stuff. And the general message seems to be they don't like it. And I would always be baffled by that. I always be like, how do you not? And like...
Yeah, you got the little ice box and your cups and your coffee and the breakfast in the morning.
Exactly. And I can understand somebody who did this for years not liking hotels now.
Yeah. I would say that like my first... Before I'd been in a decent amount of hotels in my life, but... they were all kind of. They were
big
kind
man
of,
over here.
Give it up for riches.
Right.
What was I going to say? No, but I've been in like a decent amount of like Super 8s and stuff with my family for vacations and stuff. And a lot of them when I was younger, I always thought they were uniform. One big thing that I've learned going to as many as we're going to is none of these things are uniform. They're
nothing, by the way, from the photos to the, you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's a big thing. They're art. Like we were talking about, maybe they get it from some like stock photo place or like whatever. No, every single room, every single hotel has some different art that either applies to where it is and where we are, or is just like specific to that thing. Like they're never the same. I've never seen two pieces of art that was the same.
And even when you say, just real quick, even when you say like not uniform, like to the art, like, but everything. Like even the desk, even the chairs,
where things are.
Right. You would think they would all they would have a deal with some mega corporation, and Super 8s would just get all their chairs from one place or something.
Nope.
So yeah, I used to think that they would all be the same and pumped out of a factory, and now I'm like, nope. It depends on where we're going, and we better look at the Yelp reviews.
And one thing with this show we've definitely learned too is the Wi-Fi is not uniform anywhere.
No, not even close.
No,
not even close.
No idea what you're gonna get.
Yeah, this one's doing pretty good.
Yeah, no, this place is good. I would say on my end, like how I feel. You know what's funny? I still really find myself liking hotels most of the days. Like I actually enjoy going and getting my little ice. I like walking down the thing. But again, the uniformity and I would say realizing that hotel life, even though I still like it, I think when we're done with this trip, I won't just stay at home. I will see them differently in the sense of like, I will really examine hotels where I'm going and what
Yeah.
I'm looking at before. Like I'll look at Yelp review. Like before, I
Yeah.
used to kind of just
Where it is.
where
like,
it is, and then
Mhm.
price is right, and it's probably good.
Probably even it's a La Quinta. I've stayed at La Quintas before.
Exactly.
mhm.
So that will do it for this week's Two Hippies, One Drunk. As you remember, I did my Biggie comedy venture yesterday with Amy. We will do me and Scott with Tyler gone, still kind of dealing with stuff. Me and Scott are
Be
going to
back on Sunday.
Right, back on
Yes.
Sunday, by the way.
Whoop.
Thank God. Because
Woo.
I need someone here to make sure that things get done on time, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
But,
my
no, I'm just kidding. No, but like with him gone, me and Scott are going to do a little on the road tomorrow, but we're going to mainly just discuss what Scott's experience watching a live wrestling show is like.
Yeah.
So we do that. We're going to start doing this, the Road Life, Two Hippies, One Drunk Road Life. Again, that won't be on the same day necessarily, but we'll be doing it. And again, thank you so much, everyone that's been watching and listening. Our numbers on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram are all doing very well. Please share videos if you know we make a little dumb video about us, or Tyler sells art, which he puts on our page, and that's been going great. He's been selling a ton of art, so that's great. Thank you for some people, by the way, that also helped Tyler raise some money to fly back here.
Seriously, really appreciate everybody who reached out about my dad. And he is doing better just as he's home now, so that's good. And I just cannot express enough gratitude towards the people that got me a ticket home, essentially. So thank you.
And by home, he meant here, right? I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah. Home, baby. That's
Right.
my home
will be
now,
Myrtle Beach
on
when
the
you get
road.
there. Yeah.
It does feel so fucking weird being home compared to
I'm
out there
sure,
and
dude.
seeing
I'm
you guys
sure,
out there.
You're almost probably looking like in a bubble now. Like,
Yeah.
I was there, but now
Yep.
I'm not.
It
You see,
honestly feels like this weird vague dream because it's also it's not like I'm coming home so everyone's asking me about it. It's more
Mhm.
like, how's your dad doing? What's going on with that?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So it's not even like I get to be like, oh, I did this and did this. It's like, no, I
Right.
got to deal with family stuff. So
And
it
so
is
we didn't-
cool that I'm
Yeah.
coming back out.
We didn't discuss this fully, but I know I think that it's gonna be your episode next week, right? Correct?
Yeah.
And did you say we're gonna watch some anime, or did you change
We
it up?
are going to watch some anime.
This will be very interesting on my end.
Yes, I wonder how it will go. Because this is not even like one of my favorite movies. This is just a movie that brought anime to the West, and I think it's like, if you're gonna get into that, because I would like to cover some Hayao Miyazaki movies, which I actually think you might like.
Okay.
But this movie, you might like it, but it's an important film if you're introducing anime to the thing. So
okay.
yes,
Sounds good.
Akira. So if you
Akira.
watch it, yes.
Okay. Akira?
Yes, if you want to watch it and check out our review of it, come and check us out next week.
Okay.
So,
sounds good, dude.
Yep.
I'm glad things are going well, and obviously we're excited to have you back on Sunday.
Yep.
Thanks everybody for watching and listening.
Yep. See
Yep.
you
See you next week.